Hello. My name is Ricky and welcome to the podcast. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but if you are still here, then thank you. Okay, anyways, hi, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Ricky. I'm a singer. No, I'm just kidding. I am an entrepreneur, a mentor, a speaker, a top 100 podcaster, and creator. And this is my podcast. For those that are new here, this is a walking podcast. What does that mean, Ricky? That means that we walk as we listen. It's really important for a couple of reasons. I don't know if I've ever really explained like the why behind it's a walking podcast. Well, first and foremost, obviously, the metaphor of like taking a step forward, right? Putting one foot in front of the other. We can always take a step forward in our lives. True. But also, when you're walking, when you're moving and you're increasing your dopamine and you're able to take in information that is moving you forward, right? Metaphorically or just through wisdom, and you're putting one foot in front of the other, your body is actually taking in that information, digesting it better, and the energy is higher. And so you're able to apply the information quicker. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I've made it a walking podcast. So no pressure, but if you're not walking, you're doing it wrong. Anyways, I'm really excited about today's episode. It's all about entrepreneurship and personal branding, but not in the way that you might think. It's really about coming home to yourself and your creativity and not getting lost in the noise. And the noise, sorry, I had to check if that was being recorded. And the noise is the internet and consuming and losing yourself and becoming this topic or becoming this thing. And you're just, it's so exhausting. And if you know me and you've followed me throughout my entrepreneur journey, which has been crazy and long and so many ups and downs, you know that I've evolved and changed so many times. You know that this is something I feel really passionate about is like existing as yourself, impacting as who you are, building a brand that's so fucking powerful. It doesn't matter what you talk about because people just want to hear what you have to say. And it really all truly comes back to just staying true to who you are, which is it's so important and such a big thing in my life. And I want to talk about that. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you're an inspiring entrepreneur, maybe you're just somebody that's like, I just want to be more of myself and I want to showcase my life and I want to invite people into it. And you're not really sure like how to do that. Stick around for this episode because this is going to be a powerful conversation. First and foremost, I think I already said that. But before we begin, I wanted to let you know that there are a couple things that are going on in the Ricky Friedman Steps Forward World community. First and foremost, the Walking Away from Weed program is coming up on the 15th. If you are struggling to walk away from weed, I know you have my podcast. I know you listen to my content, watch my content, but like it's not the same thing. And if you really want to take a step forward, not just for a month or 2 months or 3 months, but really start to take a step forward towards this new version of yourself. If you want more for yourself, if you want to make more money, if you are ambitious, if you are maybe you're a business owner, right? And you're an entrepreneur and you're doing okay, you're functioning at high, you're high functioning, but you're not functioning at your highest. If you want more for your life or for your business or for yourself, get into the program. Even if you're on day 10 or day 20, it's not really about that. It's about long-term transformation. So DM me or sign up the show notes, link in the show notes. And yeah, I'm also opening a couple spots up for one-on-one mentorship. If you are somebody that is looking to expand into the world of entrepreneurship, maybe you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to build your brand, you're looking to step into your creativity, you're looking to create something to offer, to make money, to impact, and you're not exactly sure where to start, or maybe you've started, but you're just feeling a little like, I don't know, like I don't feel like myself, and I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that. I am opening up 2 spots for mentorship. And, the reason I'm doing this is because, well, first and foremost, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, obviously. I've built 2 successful businesses. My podcast is a top 100 podcast. I've helped hundreds of people change their lives, hundreds of thousands of people change their lives. And I've grown my following on all different platforms. And so I know what it takes to build a business, to build a brand, to build a community. I also know what it feels like to feel really stuck and what that can feel like for someone and how it can paralyze someone from moving forward. So if this is you and you are looking to dip your toes into a new way of doing business, if you're looking to expand, if you're looking to create more impact by being yourself, truly being who you are, let's talk. I will leave a link in the show notes and that's it. All right, let's get started. I'm going to take a breath. We need to take a breath. So something that I always struggled with, And it's interesting because when you meet me, and maybe you can relate to this, I am fully myself all the time, every second. I very much embody who I am. And I'm the same everywhere, on my podcast, on Instagram, on social media, that is social media, on a stage. It doesn't matter. I'm always myself. And maybe you can relate to some of that as well. But, you know, being an entrepreneur is like a spiritual awakening. And it opens your eyes to all the things about who you are that you either need to work on, are disconnected to, or disconnected from. And it really shines a mirror back at you of like, hey, do you feel this good about yourself? Do you love yourself? Are you scared of the outcome? Are you scared to push the boundaries? It really shows you what needs to be worked on. And then it also gives you an idea of the potential that there is that lives within you. And what I mean by that is the greatest source of healing for me has always been through entrepreneurship. I'm a very creative person and I've always had an edge. And somewhere along the way, I just sort of didn't lose my edge, but I lost myself. And when you lose yourself, you lose these parts of you. You don't really lose them, but you feel like they're gone. And, you know, I've built brands, I've changed my brand, I've done this, I've done that. And something that I've come to realize is that there's this disconnect for me. And I was watching this live yesterday from this girl or woman, Victoria Washington. I don't know if you know her. I will try to link it in the show notes if I can, but it's like an Instagram live. And she was just talking about how the online space is so saturated and so the same. And I agree. And listen, there's nothing wrong with it. Like everyone is a carbon copy of someone who's someone in some way. I have never really fit in. Like I don't consider myself a coach. I don't consider myself any of that. Like I know what I do is like some sort of coaching, but I've never felt like that's the world that I wanted to be a part of. And it's been hard for me to understand it, mostly because I feel like I'm a little too raw sometimes for it. Also, it's just not my style to like be part of like a big group like that and be labeled and whatever. I'm sure you can relate to that. That's like why we are entrepreneurs, right? It's because like we want to break outside of the box. But something happens when you consume so much. Or when you don't know what to do, right? Like you don't feel safe in your nervous system. You don't know how to make decisions, or you're lacking a mindset. Like you just look to other people to tell you the answers. And then you start consuming all this stuff, right? And there's nothing wrong with consuming. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. But the problem is that you lose sight of your art. And this is what she was talking about. She was talking about how it's not just about selling something. It's not just about building a program. It's about building a brand. Something that fucking moves people, that gets people in the door. And you don't have to open it for them because they will gladly walk through it. And she said, where's the artist? And when she said that, I was like, wow, where's the artist? That's the part that I disconnected from, the imaginary, the artist of me. When I was a little kid, I used to have an imaginary family. This might sound fucking insane, but I did. I was a mom of 5 kids. I swear to God, I could tell you all their names, exactly what they were like. And I would imagine this world that I literally would imagine it. And then I played it out in my reality. Everyone in my family knew it was like this whole weird thing. But it was unbelievable that I was able to visualize something and bring it to life in such a creative way. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but it was my imagination. It was my childlike wonder. And there was also this side of me that had this like edge, right? The very open, vulnerable, like raw aspect of who I was or who I am. And I think at some point in our lives, we have so many different aspects to who we are, and we forget to bring them all together. We sort of keep them separate. Like, okay, I'm this person and I'm this person and I'm that person on the podcast. I'm this person here and I'm this person here. And it's like, no, you're actually all of these things. Obviously, you can't be everything that you are in terms of, I can't speak and stand on a stage and podcast and mentor and create a video all at the same time. So I can't do everything that I'm good at the same time, but I can bring everything that I am into everything that I do. And so can you. And she was just talking about how like, there's a difference between a business and a brand. There's a difference between empowering people and making people feel bad that they're not a part of something that you're doing. And I know that I've done this. And I can look back now and say it was from a place of lack. And it's okay, right? It's okay if we've done some things in our lives or our businesses that we're not proud of. It doesn't matter. It's like, okay, learn the lesson, move forward. But for me, it's like that artist in me, that creative, that visionary, that girl, that little girl who could imagine a whole life and bring it to life. Where is that? Who is that for you? Sometimes when I think about my edge, I'm like, damn, sometimes I just want to like take my clothes off and have this insane raw photo shoot with like fucking money, dollar bills pouring over my body and glitter and like the craziest things. And I'm just like, that's that little girl in me who's like breaking through the box that she was never meant to be in. I'm so passionate about innovation and sharing a story and creating things and unlocking creative potential. I'm so passionate about this because it fucking saved my life. I can't tell you how many times entrepreneurship has brought me right back home, or a photo shoot that I did just to get my creativity out, or when I'm recording a podcast and I'm able to speak whatever I want, or when I'm creating a graphic and I have this whole visual story with it and I'm writing something so beautiful and so raw from the heart. Or when I've helped someone else bring something to life that they can now help people change their life with. I mean, that's the ultimate. And when I think about my life and maybe you think about this and you think about the things that you've done, it's like, when you look back and you're like, wow, where was the edge? And I can find the edge and the innovation, the creativity in that little girl and all these different endeavors that I've done. You know, I've created so many interesting out of the box programs and my podcast and all these different things. And I'm like, that's such a combination of who I was as a kid, the imaginary, and then who I am as a woman, the innovator, the raw, edgy, let's go for it. And then there's other side of me that's like super light and funny and ridiculous. And like they all can be part of what you do. It's your work. That's who you are. And as I evolve, as you evolve as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a brand, it requires a lot of subconscious work as well to like, to allow yourself to step into these unknown or these edgier parts of who you are. And she just said it so beautifully. You know, she was explaining like Jay-Z's creative process and Kendrick Lamar and Eminem's and how like everyone has a different creative process. And like we think that the creative process is like consumption and like actually creating the thing. And it's not. It's like what happens before, right? So like, for an instance, if I had to think about what I was going to say before my podcast, if I had to write a script down, I could never fucking do this. My magic is moments, in a moment. Right? I put a microphone on and the magic just pours out. But if I had to think about it, it wouldn't be my magic. My craft would be ruined. That's just my creative process. My process is just, I feel it and I go. That's why it's so hard for me sometimes to like market and sell and do all that stuff. Cause like, it's not always natural for me. It's natural for me because I'm a marketer and I can sell things, of course, and I'm creative, but it's not natural for me because it feels like I'm forcing to say something. And it's like, I'm so good on my feet that I just want you to get into the room and experience the transformation. And I have a hard time doing that. It's not easy for me to be selling all the time. It doesn't feel natural for me. I am a natural salesperson, but only in its purest form. And that's what I've discovered. It's like, I love my walking away from weed program, but I don't want to sell it all the time because it doesn't feel natural for me. I want to tell indirectly, like, don't you see what my life is like? Don't you see these stories that I tell you? Like, don't you want to be a part of it? Right? And I think it's hard because as a business owner, like, you need to sell things. But actually, and what she was saying was like, no, you don't. You just need to market things. And that made so much sense to me, right? Like, it's not just about sales, it's about marketing. If you can market something and empower people through your words, through your visuals, through your storytelling, through your voice, they will buy from you. And it's been a big lesson for me. You get burnt out when you're chasing. And it's such a big thing. It's a big problem. People are so disconnected to themselves, to their truth, to who they really are. I mean, who you are, whether you are a business owner or not, and you're listening to this, you're still a fucking brand. And by brand, I mean, like, who are you? What do you like to do? What do you like to say? What's the shit you've been through? What makes you you? I would say that the most raw version of who I am is this podcast. I don't get to show you all the other aspects of me in terms of like, you don't see me dancing on here, which is such a big part of who I am and really a creative portal for me. You don't see, I don't write things on here. You don't get to read something. You don't get to see the way that I can visualize and put a graphic together. Like those things you don't get to see, but you do get to see and hear the way that I can speak and the videos that I create and my voice, right? So like this has been a creative portal for me. And I realize I somehow, or like, well, I don't know why, I have a hard time bringing this to like a feed. And I know why, I do know why, because like, it's not natural for me. It doesn't feel natural. It's like, because everything is in the moment. So if I have to think too much about what I'm going to say, I just can't do it. And this shit kind of requires you to be like proactive and think about the thing you're going to offer and the thing about you're going to write. And like, I'm so in the moment that like, it fucks the creative process for me. But you know what? I'm just going to start to lean into that. You have to lean into who you are and what works for you. If I had to pre-record 5 episodes of this podcast, I would never have a podcast because I wouldn't be able to do it. It would be so unnatural. So I just put my headphones on and I plug it in and I go. That's why it's like, I hate writing captions. Disclaimer, I fucking hate it. I hate writing titles for my podcast. I hate that stuff. It feels so unnatural for me. It feels like I have to do it. I don't even know why I was sharing that part, but I think it all kind of comes together of just like what feels natural, what doesn't, right? So I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to transform lives, obviously. I'm on a mission to create innovative experiences for people through the experiences that I've had, teach you how to evolve, grow, expand, walk away from weed, walk away from whatever it is in your life that keeps you stagnant. But I'm on another mission too. I really am. I'm on a mission to bring radical ideas and innovation to this world and help people unlock their creative potential because creativity saves lives. After I stopped smoking, I threw myself into creativity. I started making all these different videos, documenting my life and writing more and dancing more. And it was like this portal for me to just exist. Creativity can save your life because it requires all your focus. You have to be present for it. I love business. I love helping people break the fucking rules. I love breaking the rules. And I'm so, I'm working really hard at breaking my own barriers of why I haven't been able to why I haven't leaned into this yet as much. And that's why this podcast exists, is so I can break through the barriers and we can break through them together. And we can show up whoever we are and change the lives of so many people by being our most creative, edgy, unhinged, sometimes controversial part of our lives, part of ourselves. So I am on a mission, and it extends far beyond me. And it's really to help people to take more steps towards who they truly are, to bring concepts into this world that feel complicated, but to break them down in ways people can understand, to articulate the truth, to communicate radical ideas, and to break the rules. And I just wanted to talk about this today in case you feel like everyone is the same online, it's because they are. In case you feel like you can't say certain things, you can. In case you feel like you're not allowed to extend on your offers, you can. And you should. And I know that I talk about this all the time and I haven't done it yet, but that's just because, sometimes you have to work through things internally. but it's also fear. And I'm okay with admitting that. I don't get to do everything at once that I want to do. And you don't either. You have to evolve in time. Sometimes you're not in an integration space. You're in a fuck, what is going on learning space. And then you integrate. Fear holds back creativity. And when creativity doesn't get to be released, we don't get to be released. It's like the way I feel when I'm dancing. Nothing in the whole world makes me feel more free or more sexy or more connected or more excited or aligned than dancing. It gets me out of my head. Get out of your head so you can get into your creativity. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little different, but this is the shit that I love. I really love this. Innovation transforms the world. And I've been able to change so many lives through being innovative. And it's the biggest part of who I am. I would say that communication and innovation, and it's okay to own these parts of who you are and combine them, bring them together. When you bring them together, you'll bring the right people together. All right, guys, hope you had a good walk. Drink some water. Get outside. Get off. Take a break from Instagram for a minute or TikTok. Like, go on a walk by yourself. Don't even listen to a podcast. I mean, listen to mine, obviously, after or before, but take some time to reconnect to your creativity, to your edge. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like? What are you so scared of? That's a green light. Go. All right. Love you, and I will see you next week.